Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center at 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows online at WCBE.org. I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Johnny DiLoretto, and this is Cinema Classics.
It is. And here we are.
At the Gateway Film Center.
Oh, where else?
As usual.
Yeah.
Post-Oscar,
I'm
what
tired.
do we call this? Oscar post-mortem.
I'm tired of it. Let's get rid of it now.
You want to do it now?
On this show.
Why are you saying we're tired of it when we bleed this thing dry for weeks?
I know we do. I'm feeling slightly
our
embarrassed.
predictions, we have our who should win,
Right,
we
yeah.
have our post-mortems.
All right. I want to hear what you think. Why Birdman?
Why Birdman as Best Picture?
It won. It beat Boyhood. And
Well, I gotta say, it's a surprise. You gotta give the Academy that.
Yeah.
Normally, movies like Birdman, which are a little weird,
Yep.
which aren't exactly uplifting, triumph of the human spirit type of movies, they don't normally walk away with that award. Normally what happens, as you know, it'd be like Pulp Fiction winning Best Picture. You know, those movies don't win Best Picture. They get the consolation prize of Best Screenplay.
Right.
So that's what I saw coming for Birdman. Now, I think it's interesting that Birdman walked away with Best Picture at the expense of Michael Keaton's Best Actor Award.
But it did get Best Director.
Yeah, but
Okay, well,
everybody
that's
was talking
significant.
about Keaton.
Yeah.
He is a Hollywood favorite. You know, not these days, certainly not a bankable box office draw, but he's well thought of in the industry. Every time he's in a movie, he gives his all. He's always the high point of whatever sort of, even if it's a cameo. So there's a lot of industry goodwill for Michael Keaton.
But that's why I think it's laudable that they didn't give it to him, because they weren't swayed by the sentiments you're talking about. And Eddie Redmayne fulfills a more classic definition of winning the
Right,
Oscar.
but they fell prey to those sentiments. Right?
Exactly.
Which it's the here's a guy who's going to play the guy in the wheelchair.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And so, yeah, you're right. They didn't capitulate to the sentiments that they had for Michael Keaton, but they capitulated to the tried and true Oscar Best Actor thing, where you do a physical kind of ailment, and that clinches the award for you. Now, what about Best Actress, Julianne Moore?
Yeah, if you look at the other possibilities, my favorite actress, Marion Cotillard these days, she was not in a great film, although she did play an activist worker trying to be reinstated in her job, and that was a really good one. I didn't see anything else. Meryl Streep. No, this is not that. Let me do something else. The only other one that was near that was Felicity Jones in The Theory of Everything.
Oh yeah, you thought that she was a contender?
No, nobody was a contender for this.
Yeah.
I mean, this was locked down for Julianne Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Take all the reasons you gave for Keaton, and then add to a performance that just couldn't have been equaled by anybody.
Right. Well, she is great.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ever won an Oscar
hasn't.
before.
She hasn't.
But she is, you know, over the years has been the go-to kind of actress with chops for all different sorts of things. I remember seeing Julianne Moore years ago in a movie called Safe, directed by Todd Haynes, which is one of the great movies of the 90s. And she's brilliant. She plays a woman that has environmental illness. It's also a very prescient kind of performance and movie about sort of our contemporary obsession with syndromes and allergies. And she's a genius in that movie. And she's just never stopped. She's never stopped giving great performances, even recently, a couple years ago, in The Kids Are All Right, where she has an affair. She's a lesbian that has an affair with Mark Ruffalo.
Right, yeah.
It's long overdue.
Yeah.
I'm glad. You know, it's funny, and then I'm going to hand it over to you. It's somebody like her who's approaching 50, may even be in her 50s at this point, who wins this award at a juncture in her career where it's well earned. She has a body of work behind her.
That's right.
Unlike Eddie Redmayne.
I know, and I knew you would slip into this because you're a proponent of this theory about how you have a resume that leads to, rather than just a quick. And Redmayne has plenty of time, would have had plenty of time to get another one, and just a one-shot, essentially a one-shot deal for him. This is the one, and I know your theory.
Yeah, because here's
what
happens. Here's what happens now. Here's what happens with Eddie Redmayne. All of a sudden, this guy is going to get offers for everything.
Yeah.
He's also going to get offered big paychecks to be in blockbusters because he's now an Oscar winner, and that has some kind of cachet. Now, so, you know, let's say he chooses to take a big paycheck, be in a couple of blockbusters that tank, you know, then suddenly now he doesn't have quite as much cachet. Then he has to sort of hurry up and scramble and try to find the right roles to put him back on his actorly path. Then all of a sudden, the guy's out of sync, and before you know it, his career is derailed.
Yeah, or he could slip into the Daniel Day-Lewis mode and take one film every couple of years. I don't see it. I don't see it coming from him.
How many Daniel Day-Lewis?
I know. I understand that. Yeah, Day-Lewis is a whole different breed. But yeah, it's interesting to see what will happen with Eddie, and I suspect you may be right. He'll have a bunch of schlock that will come after this. Now, the one guy, again, who kind of fulfills our hope of a resume, getting done, got it with J.K. Simmons, supporting actor.
Here's a guy who was a character actor for years, who finally was able to sink his teeth into a showy supporting role, and it paid off. I mean, he's very entertaining. Everybody, if people don't know J.K. Simmons by name, they know him by face. They've seen him in commercials. He's actually a really fine comic actor. So I think partially what accounts for the surge in his win is because it was so dramatic and so powerful and so aggressive and showy. Like
Moore's. Once you saw it, you felt that was a certainty, and it didn't waver for the last several months. People still were saying it. Now, one category that we don't always talk about, because when we get to the technical categories, we kind of shy away, and I certainly do. Cinematography.
Okay.
Birdman.
Yes.
Do you have any feelings about that?
I would say that Birdman did have a distinct look to it. There are shots. I'll tell you what, like, there are shots. Remember when he walks into the bodega and there are all those like chili pepper lights hanging from the ceiling? Shots like that, the color of those were really sort of striking and almost surreal.
And I'd like to think that those are the reasons, rather than the one that kind of gets thrown around is that the movie looks like one long take.
Well, yeah, it's a stunt shot. It's done with computers, but there's no cut. You know, there's no cutting in the movie. Yeah. The movie is essentially one long tracking shot. Now, I think that actually does kind of answer the question. So you get this fluidity in the cinematography between shots like the one I just mentioned, and then your sort of typical like him running through the street in Times Square, so you get your exterior shots. Yeah. There's this counterbalance to the color scheme of the compositions that I think accounts for that.
And I thought there was the same kind of balance in Keaton's portrayal. And that's one of the reasons I was so strong about Keaton, is there were a variety of means for him to act. Yeah. And he was playing an actor.
Right.
And again, as a side note, Hollywood loves this. The last 3 or 4 years have been about the business.
Yeah.
I thought maybe this wouldn't be the year, but just because of the number of challenges that the cinematographer had, not the least of which was creating in the St. James Theater on Broadway, creating that sense almost that you were there with all of those egos and all of that excitement. behind the production and,
Yeah.
and behind the stage, and I thought they really got that going very well.
Yeah.
I was never fooled by the one take. I think
Yeah,
some
of
people
course. Yeah, I do too. But, it's not like, you know, well, you remember Hitchcock did that with Rope.
Rope. That's
Now,
right.
Rope is
what?
done in actually 4 takes, I think. I don't know. It's
Okay.
done in a number of takes because the reels of film that he was shooting on were only 10 minutes long.
Right, right.
Which meant that he had to choreograph the camera. He had to know where it was going to be at the end of that 10-minute stretch,
Exactly.
so that he could stop and then reload him.
Yep.
So sometimes the camera pushes in on a dark jacket. Sometimes it pushes in on a wall or something. But that is real craftsmanship and not necessarily this computerized trickery that the cinematographer for Birdman employed. We skipped
ahead.
over supporting actress Patricia Arquette.
Yeah. Now, this is the only award that I know of that Boyhood got. Perhaps I'm wrong. There might have been another in a minor category. But when you consider that Boyhood was going neck to neck with Birdman and ends up with just Patricia Arquette getting the award, to me it's saying something that perhaps we had overvalued, at least from the perspective of the Academy, the Boyhood contribution.
Yeah.
And I had, in the sense of Boyhood, I had always felt that just because you extended your production over 12 years and kept the same actors, it was not good enough to be the best movie, although it was what people hung their hook on. But Arquette, I mean, she let herself age.
Yeah.
And did a great job as a
It's what we condescendingly call a brave performance.
I
by
didn't
a
want to use that
beautiful
word.
woman.
I knew I did not want to
You
use
know,
that word.
this is also interesting. Again, what I'm most interested in this year is the awards coming for the actor awards anyway, coming at these particular junctures in their career. So Julianne Moore, in her 50s, Michael Keaton, let me get back to him, he didn't win obviously. J.K. Simmons, probably pushing 60. Patricia Arquette, probably nearing 50. These are the times now where you're going to see, you know, hopefully we see a second and third act full of, you know, really rich work from these people.
Yes.
I think even though Michael Keaton did not win, this has given his career. He's 63 years old now at this point, 64. This has put the spotlight on him again in a way that he hasn't been for 25 years or more. And so I am most excited about seeing what Michael Keaton does post Birdman.
And certainly he had a filmography as varied as anybody who was up for an award.
Yes, he's had a varied filmography, you know, with varying degrees of success.
Yes, yeah, but he's tried everything.
He's always had his best parts have been either in very quiet movies, you know, or supporting
way out
roles.
there.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, right. But if you think about Beetlejuice, he's only in that movie for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it's just a glorified cameo, really.
Well,
Anyway.
that's the year 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you my estimate in the end.
Yeah.
Some good movies. And
Yeah.
how do I know that? I went on television and I did not give the right credit to the winner. I thought that Boyhood was going to get it.
Yeah.
Birdman did. Yeah, I knew that I liked Birdman better than Boyhood.
And yet, given your experience on this show, you're used to being wrong.
It's part of our charm.